Hello and welcome to this short and crisp tutorial on creating perfect putty indexes so as to give an excellent test drive to our patients, which is an intricate step in creating flawless smiles. So let's get started. We have a digital mockup ready in the form of a 3D printed model. One clinical tip here is whenever you're using a 3D printed model made of resin, you should try and avoid using an addition silicone rubber based material. Instead, use a C silicone or a condensation silicone as the resin 3D printed models reacts with the A silicone, inhibiting its polymerization. So as a rule, the material of choice for preparing putty indexes, especially on a 3D printed model, is a C silicone rubber based material. The first step in the process is mixing of the base and the catalyst in appropriate quantities based on the manufacturer's instructions. Once you have a uniform mix, we start by making it into a roll approximating from one molar to the other in length and then placing it onto the palatal surface first and then start dabbing it over the occlusal surface, adapting it intimately and then following onto the buccal. Now at this stage, you've got to make sure that you have sufficient thickness on the facial and the palatal, which is eventually going to give the necessary stability to the putty index when we transfer the wax up in the patient's mouth. Once we are sure we have covered the most posterior tooth that we intend to and the entire palatal occlusal and buccal, we hold it in position till the putty is fully set. The most commonest way to check whether the putty is set or no clinically is by poking your nail into it, and then if the mark retains, then there is still time and we should wait till the time there are no marks imprinting onto the surface if we poke with our nail. Now, the next step is to use a light body to reline and get a more precise imprint of the design that is created in the wax up for better reproduction when we transfer the wax up. So we keep the model and putty index side by side and mix the light body and catalyst as prescribed by the manufacturer and load the light body from premolar to premolar as our wax up is done in those teeth, so there is no need to cover the molars all the way. So once we have a uniform mix, we load it onto the intaglio surface of the index and seat the index firmly in position onto the model and maintain gentle pressure till the time the light body sets. Once we are sure the material has set, we are to remove the index from the model and start with the trimming process. We can either use a fresh number 12 or number 15 blade with a Bart Parker handle for this process. To make trimming easier, I prefer to trim the gross excess a millimeter or two above the gingival levels of the teeth in one flat line, which is then followed by giving cuts precisely into each embrasure, being very careful not to nick any part of the wax up design. Do not hesitate if this step takes a few minutes initially, as and when you start trimming more indexes, you will automatically develop the muscle memory to do it. Remember, the more precise the cuts you make right now, the better the test drive will be, as there will be hardly any excess after transferring the smile. So the key here is to follow the gingival margin and the tooth junction very precisely so that all the excess material flows out and we can easily remove the excess once the material is setting. In the part 2 of the video, you will be able to visualize how we transferred the smile using the putty index we just created and how we can show the test drive in a way that's compelling and value creating for the patient. This is how the final product looks like with the scallops perfectly following the teeth design. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified when we release the part 2 of this video. Until next time, signing off, Dr. Mayank Doshi from Dentrovert.